Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions podcast with Brent Bailey. And at the tech booth, Jody Cook-Bailey and Luke Cardio. We are growing our circles of connections and knowledge together with encouraging conversations and positive communications. And now, Brent Bailey.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions. It is a great day, and I hope that you're having a good time wherever you are. As you can tell, we're in the Christmas spirit here. We've got a great show planned for you today.
Yes.
Man, I've got the writer, director, and one of the stars of the movie Small Group, Matt Chastain, with us today. And the reason we're having him on is because this movie is out now on DVD and Blu-ray, and it's a great stocking stuffer, and so we're going to have him on in just a minute. You don't want to miss it. We're going to talk about the movie and the impact that it's having around the world. All right, over at the tech booth right now, I'm being joined by Jody and by Luke. And guys,
Here again.
it's Christmas season.
It is. It is
And
Christmas
so
season.
it's really kind of hard to believe that we're there, but we're in the Christmas
I know,
season. So
we are.
We're celebrating now, and we're just going to celebrate the rest of the entire month. We'll just
Talk about Christmas.
talk about
and
Christmas and fun things. And
ask people if they've gotten their Christmas presents yet. And
yep, we're going
bought
to
them.
continue to
Not-
ask that every day.
every day. As a reminder.
Yes, because if you haven't, shame on you.
Yeah.
Do you guys like hide your Christmas presents?
No.
Like buy them and then hide them in the house?
No,
No.
we just buy them and have them shipped like right as soon as
Oh,
they-
you mean before Christmas?
Yeah, before Christmas.
Yeah, because there's
Did you ever find them as a kid?
tall kid in my house that
course.
gets curious.
Who didn't find their presents when you were growing up?
I remember one time I found it. My mom was like, "How did that get there? What is that?"
I remember I was probably 18-ish. My mom and dad bought me a Harley Davidson phone for my room. Now this is see now we all have one of these, but
Yeah.
Right.
but this was way before then, and it was when you had a phone in your room as a kid in our generation. Jody would remember this. You were a big deal if you had something in your room.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you just were the
TV in your room.
you
Oh
were
my gosh.
absolutely
Telephone.
yeah. If you had a phone and a TV, so my mom and dad bought me. It was a little Harley Davidson motorcycle that you picked up by the gas tank and then you talked into the
I think
wheels.
they
And
still have it.
no,
Oh, no.
my mom took it back because she was
Oh,
so mad
sorry.
that I found it beforehand. Did you ever sneak and open them? Did you like when they were wrapped and underneath the tree? Did you ever like?
Oh no, I wasn't
Over
that
there.
brave.
No.
I wasn't that brave.
I did that too.
I like surprises. I like to
You
wait.
would go in the middle of the night and carefully open it.
Now listen. Now my mom and dad were business people and still are, and so there were some times I'd be home by myself. Now that doesn't mean like when I was a kid, like a little kid. No, I'm talking.
He was 4 years old,
13,
just
14 years old. You're home by yourself. It's no big deal. We lived in a small town. It's definitely was the 80s, so it's not anything like it is now.
Yeah.
And so I'd be at the house by myself. I think that generation's called latchkey kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And so
all right.
I was there, and those presents were under the tree, and I was like, So I went over and snuck, and I peeled back the tape a little bit and opened it, and just to see that I was getting a Star Wars present that year, and then put it all back together. And my mom came to me like a few days later, and she's like, something happened to one of the presents under the tree, and I was like, what are you talking about?
See, I would always be able to tell what it was by shaking the box.
Oh, of course. Well, sure, yeah. Especially if it's something weird. I mean, you just know immediately. Like, wow, what's that oval-shaped present under the tree with ridges on
Right.
it? It feels like a football, and they're like, "No, it's not a football. What are you
not a
talking
football.
about? It's a zeppelin.
I don't even know
Yeah, right.
what
yeah.
that is.
Did you see?
That's a fly. It's like
It's like a blimp.
It's like a blimp. Yeah.
Oh,
Come on, didn't you see Christmas Story? Anyway,
yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's
Yeah.
talk about what day it is. It is
Hey.
a lot of national days today.
Yeah,
so.
National Pastry Day.
Hallelujah.
Yes, so.
What's your favorite kind?
what's not my favorite kind. Donuts, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to give a plug right now to Dave's Bakery in Flatwoods, Kentucky.
Yes.
It's one of the few places I've ever found peanut butter icing
so
donuts,
good.
and it's delicious.
That sounds really good.
Now, when they talk about pastry day, though, when I looked up the information about it, they talk about like things that are made with phyllo dough or like
kind
like
of
a
dough?
baklava. It's a light
phyllo
flaky-
dough?
Yes, I think all of you bakers out there, I might be incorrect on describing phyllo dough, but pastry doesn't have to be a
Never
heavy.
even heard of it.
It's
Yeah.
they use it in bakeries. So, but a lot of it's flaky, it's thin, and they make, like I said, baklava
All right.
or French desserts and
Croissants.
So
yeah, sort of,
in the comment section below, while you're clicking the share button, tell us what's your favorite
What's your
pastry.
favorite pastry?
What are the favorite pastry that you like to have?
Yeah.
I like croissants. They're good.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to
You
say it
already
with
said
as
it.
much French
said it,
accent as
yeah.
possible. Croissants.
Croissant.
Croissant.
Those are very good.
They are good.
I like the pastries that we used to get a delivery from Panera every Sunday for our
Yes.
church. They would donate pastries and things like that, and there was always the pastry that had the strawberry filling and
the
the
fruit in the middle.
Yeah,
and
it's so
it's like
good.
a ring. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
really good, really good.
Yeah.
All right, so it's
So-
National Pastry Day. What else? Today's also Christmas card day,
It
right?
is Christmas card day. So really, if you don't have your Christmas cards together,
This is the day you're supposed to
You're supposed
update
to
your mailing list, get it all ready
get your
to be dropped in the
stamps,
mail.
get envelopes, get it all ready to go. So
Oh, that's good.
nowadays you can, a lot of people are sending digital Christmas cards. And
I'm glad that you said that
yeah,
because a lot,
because
most.
you remind me.
Well, no. We've never been big on the mail part.
Right.
We've
I
always
tried.
Sent, yeah,
I really did try, but yeah.
we sent the email version of it.
Yes.
So,
There's so many more steps in like physical mail.
I know.
You know what I
well,
mean?
did you
too much.
realize that the United States Post Office had the opportunity to become the first email distributor or whatever you want to provider
Yeah.
to the rest of the world because email was developed in the military to be able to talk interdepartmentally, and they gave it to the United States Postal Office. Said, "Here, you can do the civilian version of this," and they're like, "Why would we do that?" and ever since email, the Postal Service has been on a downward projectile.
But would they have charged us per email though?
It's included in your taxes.
Oh, okay.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you talk about your overhead would come down. There would
Oh,
be,
yeah.
I mean, they're closing sorting centers all the time, just because they didn't have the foresight to see the impact that
Yeah.
email would have. So
Wow.
Yep. They
that's a
missed out on
whole
that
nother
one.
show.
It
We
is
could
a
do
whole
a
other show.
strategic planning show or
Right.
whatever. So anyway, today is also the day in 1979 that smallpox was officially declared eradicated.
Eradicated.
That's awesome.
Now
Yeah.
you think, why do you bring up something like that? Well, listen, we're living in a day where we're all looking at COVID, and it doesn't matter what you think about it. If it is the smallpox of this generation, or if it's not as serious as as people say it is, wherever you land on that, I bring this up today because today would be just a great day to just be believing God to remove,
Amen.
come on, COVID
COVID.
completely from our midst.
Absolutely.
Exactly the way smallpox was declared
Yep.
on this day
Yep.
in 1979. So go ahead and use your faith with us and get in agreement with us because today would be a good day
Yes, it
for
sure
it
would
to happen.
Yep.
And so
We did it once. We'll do it again.
we did.
Yep.
There has not been a disease yet that has wiped out humankind. So real quick, let's talk about this. I know that a lot of us like to eat high protein, low carb,
No.
things like that. And Chipotle has a great menu for that. They have the
Yep.
bowls that you can do, meat and cheese and the vegetables, and you can get it with no rice. And so they're
Yeah.
rolling out a new flavor at your local Chipotle. Go in and ask for, are you ready for this? The smoked brisket bowl. That sounds just amazingly delicious, doesn't it?
It does.
I do. I
My
love
mouth is
brisket.
watering talking
Yeah.
about it. So
Yeah.
So
good. That would be a good meal.
all right.
Have you seen that meme? It's like, oh my God, I love Chipotle. Chipotle is my life. It's like a little boy.
No, I haven't seen that one, but I'm not at all shocked by it. So, all right, we've got a great guest on the show today, so let's take a moment right now and expand your search. I'm so excited to have on the program today the writer and director and one of the stars of the movie Small Group. Jody and I watched this the other night while we were in the comforts of our own bed, and I got to tell you, this is a fantastic movie. So please welcome to the program Matt Chastain, everybody. This is Matt. Hey, Matt, how are you? It's good to have you. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Hey, Brent, thank you so much for reaching out. And mostly thank you for watching the movie. That's every time someone says they take time to actually watch it, whether they like it or whether it doesn't necessarily land for them, I just appreciate you taking time to watch it.
I mean, we Jody and I started it the other night, and I had heard a lot about this movie because we have a mutual friend, and he had kept telling us about it, and so we watched it, and it actually went well above our expectations, and we had pretty good expectations already going in, and I just want to give you some props there. It is outstanding, and you did a great job with it. And now, as we really need to bring the audience up to speed. So we're going to show the trailer real quick. Let's go to the trailer right now, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Good morning. Open your Bibles to John chapter 13.
We're here to make a movie about the dwindling influence of Christianity in America.
Let's just start over and choose to think positively. Here we are.
This place is a dump.
The film, this job, it's not what I thought it was. He wants me to wear spy cameras and trick people and lie and...
What are you talking about?
I'm just not gonna get anywhere in big church.
We should get you guys in a small group.
What's that?
It's gold. It's gold.
Yeah.
We had a couple who, they're not with us anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, they didn't die. They moved. Basically dead to me, of course.
Let's hear from Shane's new friends.
I'm Roman Cooper.
You look like a coop. We'll call you Coop. Can we call you Coop? Coop it is.
Gavel.
Are we, I don't know, stepping on sacred ground or something?
We're all blessed.
Why is it that we as Christians are so obsessed with judgment?
It's starting to feel guilty. Have you seen it?
Seen what?
You are trending.
What are you doing here, Shane? Don't. We brought this on ourselves.
This is total bull.
Wow. These are my friends. How am I gonna get these people to open up? You know, show me some truth, because if I don't, this thing crashes and burns.
All right, there it is, Small Group, the movie, and I got to tell you, Matt, you guys did such a great job with it. I love the story. So let's just get right into it. What? How did you feel called to do that? What was the reason behind it?
Yeah, so my wife and I both grew up in very small town Southern Baptist churches, and they're so small that the entire church kind of is a small group. So neither of us had really heard of what this whole small group thing is about. In fact, large suburban evangelical churches are kind of a interesting experience to us, or at least were until about 10 years ago. But we joined a Southern Baptist church, a new church, I guess back in 12 or 13. And everybody's talking about small group this, small group that. And we're like, hey, we got a Sunday school. We're fine with that. So, but we had, like everybody who struggled to kind of really find our niche and connect with people. So everybody, we decided to join a small group. And so we went through a couple, and there were a couple false starts, a couple, it doesn't really work for whatever reason. Because, I know in the movie, we do make small groups, we try to accurately reflect what they are. They can be very awkward. They can be, honestly, very a tough experience for some people, but they can also be awesome. So that's less to do with, the social context of what small groups are, and more to do with humanity itself. But so we finally landed in one that worked for us. So this was in 14. I remember sitting in the first meeting, and we're just having a great time. And I remember that we're at the guy's house who the character that I play, Shane, is based on. And I'm like, man, because I just love his dry humor. I love how he just always made me laugh. But I remember thinking, I'm like, this is more me, this is, and in fact, I can't believe nobody's made a movie called Small Group, because I knew Christian movies kind of were becoming a thing back then. I never really wanted to make a movie. I just thought that'd be a good idea. So I reached out to a producer buddy of mine. I was actually at his office for another reason, and I thought I was going to give him a good idea. I was going to tell him, hey, I got a great idea for you. You should make a movie called Small Group, like a faith-based movie. And he's like, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm actually in a small group in my church. Go write it. And I was like, me? Okay, sure, why not? I can do that. Which is, I think my ignorance and my stupidity in believing that I could take on such a monumental task may have actually helped me do it. So I went and started writing it, and thank God he introduced me to a development producer who had just moved to town, who kind of worked with me on actually developing the script. The development process is more important than the writing. The development goes on, hand in hand with the writing, but it's more important. And so it took us another year, and we went through 9 additional drafts of kind of combing through and developing it. And, the development producer never opened the script up himself and wrote a single word, but because of him, it became what it is. So thanks to Dale Wheatley on that. And so, by early 16, we had a draft, and we just started raising money for it. And we raised about a little over $1 million in 4 or 5 months. And by the end of 16, we were making the movie. So it was just kind of one of those, call it providential or call it dumb luck. I don't know what it was, but as soon as the script was done and it was the quality that it was, everything else just kind of fell into place for the movie until we got finished with it. And then we entered the 4 years of distribution nightmare that we've been in.
Wow.
But now we're great. But yeah, or I guess 3 years. But it was it's been an interesting process for sure.
So now, I feel you when you're talking about growing up in a small church. I grew up in a small Pentecostal church in northeastern Kentucky, very small, maybe 100 people on Easter Sunday. It was a really small church. And I know that Sunday school feel really was what small groups were all about when I was growing up. And so It was a whole new concept. And I'm really glad that you guys were able to tackle this. Now, this movie has been a little more challenging and convicting than most other films in the Christian genre. So has that made it tough, or how has it been?
So here's what's going on with us right now. It's very, very cool. I would say it's a harder movie to market than your typical faith-based movie. The genre has figured out, or the industry has figured out a formula that works, and it does work. A lot of people I think that the industry gets a bad rap. The genre gets a bad rap for being a little too preachy. People call it cheesy. But that's the movies they have to make, because that's the movies that audiences kind of low-hanging fruit. It's what audiences respond to. Yeah. Try to make anything out of that, and you got an uphill battle on your hand, because you're kind of where we are. Now, even though, look, sales are going great, people who watch the movie love the movie typically. I would say 95% of people who watch it really, really like it. But getting them to watch it's the difficult part, and here's why. We're kind of in between 2 different groups. There's one group is your typical faith film viewer, the person who's going to have no problem going to buy a typical faith film. And most of them are looking for that kind of rallying cry, that kind of sermon film, frankly. And if you're not that, they're suspicious of you. On the other hand, on the other side of that, there's I truly believe in my heart, a far more giant audience of just kind of normal everyday Christians who kind of have some suspicions of the genre, who kind of, have given that genre that reputation simply because they want films that are more story-based than sermon-based. If you even look at, like, Jesus told the disciples, we have to reach everybody on the outside through story, not through sermon. And he said that. And I think when you try to take a sermon and thinly wrap it in story, people see through it, and it feels less genuine than you intend as a filmmaker. So we're kind of in between those 2 crowds. We're trying to convince the typical faith crowd that this is a movie that you don't have to be suspicious. Yes, it's a little self-deprecating to the culture, but we not make fun of ourselves a little bit? But that audience, a lot of them are thinking, oh gosh, they're just being mean to Christians. But no, we're not. I am a Christian. And then you have to convince the other one, the bigger audience, that this is not your typical, I guess, preachy faith-based film. So we're kind of carving it. I think, and it's not just us. There are plenty of other really, really well-done Christian movies out there. There's a movie called Treasure Lies you should definitely check out. There's a series called Vindication. There's a lot out there that are doing kind of what we're doing. That it's having a little harder time kind of getting traction as your typical faith-based movie would, because that audience hasn't kind of been developed yet and doesn't know what to expect. So that's okay. For me, that's only opportunity. That just says that all we have to do is we got to carve that niche. We got to dredge that river. And once we do, it'll flow and do what it's supposed to.
Well, that kind of brings us to this next question is, why do you feel like that faith-based films struggle so much to affect the culture, and how can we help? What can we do about that?
Yeah, so I think the reason is faith-based films really are kind of they're for the choir. You're preaching to the choir there. Yeah. If you want to rally the choir, there's those movies are great and they do a wonderful job. I mean, just look at some of the numbers the typical one has done. So certainly I don't want to disparage any filmmaker who takes on this endeavor. It's amazing,
right?
But the reason I think outsiders, and when I say outsiders, I don't just mean non-believers. I mean probably the majority of believers even would look at this genre and say this is not really affecting me, is because of what I said earlier. Jesus said to tell stories, and I don't think that's always what happens. I think a lot of times what happens is, okay, here's what I want to say. Here's a message I've got, and I want you to know it. You start off with the exposition, and then you try to wrap a story around that, and that just people see right through that. They see right through it. Just tell a story. A lot of Jesus's parables, you don't know. I mean, they seem like, okay, I kind of see what he was saying there, but it wasn't so obvious. I think of the prodigal son parable. Everybody understands that the base meaning of that is, yes, the father will open his arms to us sinners to come back. What a lot of people, I don't think, understand was there's actually two audiences to that parable. You're also talking to the big brothers out there who are kind of, I guess their sin is more legalism and self-righteousness. that parable is for them too. He had to learn a lesson just like the little brother did. So Jesus' parables kind of had a lot of subtext rather than being so expositional. And I think that's what we have to do. You got to start off with a question. What would happen if, and then just discover it and be as honest as you can about it. And then the other part of that is, if we try to overly sanitize everything, because this is a Christian movie and we can't say bad words and we can't show bad things. It's a Christian movie. If you have that attitude, then you're not addressing the messiness of life.
Come on, that's good.
There are giant Christian networks out there who wouldn't even touch our movie because it's PG-13. Well, have you read the Old Testament lately?
Yeah.
The Old Testament ain't exactly PG.
Yeah.
And it's because we're not supposed to try to overly sanitize the depravity of humanity. You don't want to wallow in it and celebrate it. But if you don't get at, Jesus got down in there with it, and that's what we're supposed to do. And I don't think that's what's going on at a really raw, dirty, messy, genuine level with a lot. And it's not the filmmaker's fault necessarily. It's that you can't get to market because there's these two separate audiences. It's very hard to get to market with a film like that. So it's a tough thing. What can we do? What you're doing, find a film like ours that's a little different, that comes with a little different voice, and just kind of give it a platform and just ask people to give it a chance.
I know that when you were filming it, I used to be on staff at a large non-denominational church in Oklahoma, and when they were walking into the lobby and the coffee bars and the things like that, and there were sometimes that I and Jody could tell you, I kind of squirmed a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's accurate. Oh man, that is very accurate with what they're saying right there. Did you feel any pushback or anything from the cast or from any of the people that were involved in the shooting that maybe thought, man, are you making fun of me right now?
Certainly not from the cast. Actors don't care. Actors love it. No, actors love that. I think that most everybody who agreed to participate had read the script, and they realized that that there's nothing wrong with a little self-deprecation. There's nothing wrong with laughing at yourself a little bit. Honestly, if you can't laugh at yourself even a little bit, I don't want you to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you and I would be friends. Maybe that's something you should pray for. But there are things about our culture that are a little silly. I mean, you grew up as a Pentecostal, and we make a really good Pentecostal joke in the movie.
Yes, you did.
It was fun, and look at you, you're laughing, you're not offended.
I know, yeah.
But I think, hey, that's important. This is really important. This is what, when non-believers see this movie, they give the movie a chance because we're not afraid to laugh at ourselves, right? When they see us laughing at ourselves, that opens a door of okay, maybe you don't take yourself so seriously. Maybe you are a little bit more genuine, and which opens the door to the actual message of the movie, which is just about biblical grace.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. Some of the things that you can see in the trailer there, everybody on their phones when he says to open the Bible, that really got me because
one dude opens a laptop.
Yeah, one dude opens. I remember being on staff and the pastor's wife would say, you better have this message in your heart, because if you're going to preach off of an iPad, what happens if your iPad dies? And I remember laughing going, yeah, that's why we charge it, and I was looking through there and seeing so many parallels and so many. It's really a great movie. As we start to wrap this up here, let me ask you this: do you think that small group the movie is more or less relevant, and how much the world has changed in this last year? Is this movie impacting culture in the way that you want it to?
I pray it is. I think it's more relevant now for a lot of reasons. One is it's about the one thing that everybody's craving the most right now, and that's connection.
Yeah.
And then there are political reasons that make sense. There's a lot of states where the only way you're going to get that connection is if you're actually getting together with a small group at someone's house, because I have good friends who haven't come back to church. Well, I'm in Georgia, so we can go to church. You guys in Florida, God bless DeSantis. He's just said, let's open wide up. And guess what? Everybody hasn't died. It's fine. But in a lot of places out west, especially, you're not even legally allowed to go to a small group.
Yeah.
And so what's that doing to us? Well, I have friends who have not come back to church because our church is still we're trying to be compassionate. So we're going to be social distancing and everybody's in a mask. Well, maybe that stuff is great for viral transmission. Maybe it is. They've convinced us that, well, Jesus was compassionate, so we should be, that means we should bow to whatever they're saying. But the problem is, when you can't see my face and you can't really hear what I'm saying, and we're sitting 6 feet apart, we miss connection. And the gospel is delivered. Evangelism happens one-on-one through connecting. That's how the Spirit goes in between us. That's why Jesus didn't start a TV station right before he died, or even after he died, even though he could have. No, he told 11 guys in a room, this is up to you. Go spread
Come on,
this
that's
thing.
good.
Right? And so we need connection, and that's what this movie's about. I hope that people will watch this movie and go, you know what? I've had some weird experiences with a small group in the past, and just like in the movie, yes, it's possible that small groups can be awkward, and it's possible they could even feel like you get left out. I mean, I know that happens quite a bit too. This is humanity. We got to dredge through that stuff. But the good part about small group is if you want to experience the gospel with fellow believers, as we are biblically commanded to do, it's really kind of the best way to do it right now. So I hope that this will kind of inspire a revival in that at-home church studying with fellow believers.
Amen. It's so good. We're going to throw some information up on the screen right now. If you'd like to get more information about it, you can absolutely do that. Go right here to smallgroupmovie.com. You can follow along on all of their social media platforms at Small Group the Movie on Facebook, at Small Group Movie on Instagram. If you'd like to watch the movie right now, you can go on Amazon Prime and actually rent or purchase the film and watch it there. There is also some stuff on YouTube, Small Group the Movie, where you can watch the trailer and some other interviews.
About Amazon. If you don't mind me, I say this.
Absolutely.
You can actually buy the movie, DVD or Blu-ray from our website, smallgroupmovie.com, but you can also rent or buy it, the digital copy from our website. The reason that's important is because Amazon's great because it's convenient to everybody, but then Jeff Bezos gets half of everything that everybody sells. So if you want to help, if you think Jeff Bezos needs half of your rental fee, by all means, go to Amazon. If you'd like to support a filmmaker, go to smallgroupmovie.com.
All right, so that's what we want to do. We want to point everybody back to the website. It's smallgroupmovie.com. And absolutely, folks, I as a pastor, I would encourage pastors to even show this movie at your church, do a group screening or something like that. Set that up with them through the website. I'm sure they're doing church viewings and things like that, and it's
there's
worth
a church
it.
screening part on the website for sure.
It is so worth it, guys. It is a great movie, and we enjoyed every minute of it. Even when it turned serious, it wasn't a gratuitous seriousness. It was very natural, and we loved it. We just absolutely loved it. And our hats off to you, Matt, for doing a great job with it, and your entire cast and crew that made this movie. It's really good, and it's worth it.
Well, thank you so much for all of this. I appreciate the time today, and appreciate you guys watching.
And so good luck with the rest of your projects that you have in the future, and consider this an open invitation to come on and talk about any of your future projects. We'd love to be a part of it, and God bless you. It's a great movie. Good job.
Hey, God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. That's Matt Chastain of the movie Small Group. Now let's take a moment and stop for directions. The book of Acts talks about what we were discussing with Matt today. In Acts chapter 2, verse 42, it says, "And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers, and awe came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles." All of those things happened because of a connection that the believers in the early church were making with one another. A movie like this is not only just entertaining, not only is it good for us as Christians to be able to have something that we can be proud of and watch and be entertained by, but this movie is also preaching a very powerful principle that you need other members of the body of Christ. After God created Adam and created all of creation, there was still part of him that had not been expressed yet, and that's when he made Eve. And that's the thing that you need to keep in mind, that you need the connection with other believers, because there's a part of God that you'll only experience by connecting with another believer. God puts a piece of himself in all of us, and when he does that, that's how we are to experience his fullness. That's how we see miracles happen. That's how we experience the presence of God, is by interaction with other believers. It's important. And I encourage you to watch the movie Small Group so that you can see the kind of impact that connection with other believers can have in your life. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. I'm so grateful to Matt Chastain for coming and being with us on the program. Again, if you'd like to see the movie, go to smallgroupmovie.com, order it, watch it, take part of it, and really be entertained by it. Thanks again to Jody and Luke for another great program today. Join us again next time as we continue to have great guests that will absolutely inspire and encourage you. I hope you found what you were looking for as you took the time today to expand your search and stop for directions. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @expandingyoursearch on Facebook and Instagram, and @expandingsearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We're available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to expand your search and stop for directions.